Good morning and welcome to a very special Ask the Expert. Ask the Expert is an award-winning daily series from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. to help small businesses just like you. And if you haven't had guessed it, this is our 250th show. Hopefully you can see behind me. If you have any questions, then please ask them in the comments of the live feed. If you need any more advice, then join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. Accountants and business experts like myself are on hand 24/7. During the live session, we'll be running a poll, so please do engage, and we'll reveal the results at the end. So who am I? Hopefully you recognize me from previous episodes of the 250th show of this format. My name is Aaron Patrick, and it's a pleasure to be with you again. I was here hosting the pilot episode just over a year ago, and it's such an honor to be back here for the 250th episode. I'm a chartered accountant and also a certified QuickBooks trainer with a fancy new logo you might just be able to see just behind me, and I own a accounting firm called Boffix. It's a state-of-the-art firm that's designed to make sure that small businesses don't just survive but thrive. Finally, I also have a dedicated QuickBooks YouTube channel called the Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks Chap. So if you need any more QuickBooks news and advice, then why not go over and give that channel a follow. Okay, enough about me, and let's focus on today's session. As always, the session is all about you and your burning questions. If you have any questions, please use any of the social channels to get in touch. So while we wait for the first of the questions to arrive, let's talk about issues that affect our clients. With it being the 250th episode, I thought it would be a good time to think and reflect over the past year. Let's be honest, it's been an odd year to say the very least. But as a nation, and especially with our entrepreneurs and small business owners, we have seen some amazing changes and heard some really inspiring stories. We've learned so much from the past year. Our clients alone have proven that again, time and again, how resilient they are. We have big and small clients who have been affected in many different ways, but what have we actually learned? And what I've done, I've split this into 4 different points. So point number 1, and hopefully we're starting on a positive note here, but things can only get better. While the pandemic has brought with its fair share of doom and gloom, it's important to remember with time, things will get better. We'll get back to how they were, if not better. When you look at other major disasters that have taken place throughout history, the world always finds a way to bounce back from the amount of trauma caused by it. Whether it's the Great Depression, World Wars, 9/11, there's lots you can learn from the response to huge global disasters from the past. As such, staying optimistic with the absolutely vital going forward. Businesses, especially small businesses, will crumble if they don't come out of this pandemic with a pessimistic mindset. Only those motivated to take the challenge will make it to the end. We've seen our clients reach absolute rock bottom, but during these times, even when closed, they've improved their business. From renovating salons to diversing their income streams to going online for the first time, many a small business has ready now to take on the world, and it's so inspiring to see that. Point number 2, flexible working hours. With the vast majority of businesses having no choice but to adopt a flexible working arrangement already, the good news is that it does work. And for most of our clients, we've seen exactly that. By asking staff to work from home more often, the potential savings business can make in terms of overhead costs is huge. This is something to bear in mind. And setting up flexible working arrangements as either temporary or full-time measure could pay dividends now and in the future. Also, we have seen many in innovation with more flexibility for helping clients' customers. Incredibly, we have seen many of our clients sustain great growth while adopting working from home. Even here at Boffix, we've used the forced remote working situation to expand our talent pool. We found exciting new talent outside our normal compound, meaning that we can improve our service to clients. And I know that your business can do it too. Point number 3, social media has become absolutely vital, and we've learned that during the pandemic. While on the topic of flexible working, it's important to consider the way your small business communicates internally and also externally. From an external point of view, marketing yourself to attract new customers, social media platforms like Facebook and Instagram can make all the difference to your business success. But consider the other options. Here at Boffix, we found YouTube to be the single most important platform that we've had. As I mentioned, we created a brand new QuickBooks channel called a brand new YouTube channel called Aaron Patrick QuickBooks Chap, and also launched Boffick's Tax Tips in the same time period. We were forced to consider it so you could get to we could get the message of the pandemic and all of those business support options to as many eyeballs and ears as we possibly could. And now we will certainly won't be looking back. With platforms like this very own Ask the Expert, which have I mentioned on its 250th show at the moment, then this very show was born during these times with the one goal of supporting small businesses just like you. Social media certainly has been crucial at spreading the right message around the small business community, and it's only just starting. With Clubhouse and Stereo gaining momentum, it's never been a better time to look at social media and look at the good that it can do. Also, think about internally. Communication tools like Teams and various other video conferencing systems have helped keep the internal workforce motivated to work. Since many processes have recently had to change to an online-only basis, many businesses and many of our clients have become increasingly reliant on these tools in creating a scalable, united platform in the workplace. This is something else that had been encouraged moving forward. With at-home workers more likely to feel separated from their colleagues, social solutions should be used and have been used to be implemented to support collaboration across various teams and departments. And that's certainly what we've seen in Boffick's itself. We started an all-hands meeting during the daily roundup, which for 30 minutes each morning becomes a vital part of our business. Updating the various teams and getting real-time information from our clients, we've been able to see more collaboration than we've ever had before. And we know our clients are doing exactly the same. They're forced into these remote situations, but actually finding ways in which they can improve their services, improve their solutions, and finding ways in which they can actually become more of a unified team than they ever had before. A new procedure that will maintain post-pandemic for us at Boffick's to ensure that our teams feel connected and importantly supported during this time. And then finally, we've got point 4. How about considering or making sure you've considered a plan B? It's never been more important, has it? While restrictions may have recently been lessened somewhat, it's important to remember that we're not out of the woods yet. Therefore, it's important to prepare just in case the worst case scenario happens and there happens to be another wave of pandemic just around the corner. You can never over-prepare in business after all, so make sure you have fail-safe strategies developed and at hand just in case. Whether it be hands-free delivery system, the use of local supplies to avoid contamination, or an entirely new online service, take time now to think about how you can keep your business safe should a second wave or third wave come. Our clients and many of the experts we've had on this very show have shown the resilience we've had as a nation. Who can forget one of our experts, Freddie, who turned his cafe into a crucial delivery hub for the local community overnight? And that's one of the many stories we've had here on Ask the Expert. Our small businesses seem to have thrived under this pressure. And as a community, it's been great to see that evolving. We've seen clients create online dog classes, online yoga classes, online escape rooms, and much, much more. The pandemic has certainly not stopped all of our small businesses from being able to go from strength to strength. Now, of course, there have been businesses who have been forced to shut down, but even then, most of them have used the opportunity to go through and develop new systems, get their salons looking better, and we've seen a real sense of togetherness. And as it's the 250th episode and we look and reflect on the year, a massive thank you needs to be said to the award-winning Ask the Expert team. All of the experts as well who have contributed to Ask the Experts, and above all, everyone who's been watching as well. This show has inspired so many businesses during the, let's be frank, really awful times. It's been great to be able to tune in every single morning at 8:30 a.m. to listen to a brand new expert talk about a brand new subject and make us feel a little bit more inspired for the day to go forward. So again, a massive thank you to the team. They've been so important, and a massive thank you to each and every one of you who's been watching as well. This show really has been able to inspire people, inspire small businesses, should I say, and be able to give us an opportunity to be able to get through this as a better overall community than we started. And that's one of the benefits of what this year has given us. Shows like this Ask the Expert has given us an opportunity to be able to make sure that we feel connected during some really, really difficult times. So, as always, the most important part of this show is to get over to your burning questions. And you have already sent some amazing questions in. So let's make sure that we dedicate the rest of this show to you and your questions. And we're going to take our first question just now. So Yanis from Facebook Messenger says, after a challenging year for my business, I've had to take a bounce back loan. My goal is to repay this as soon as possible and then build up a reserve. For private finance, many experts advise around 3 months worth of income saved up for rainy days. What would your recommendation be for small business? Well, with small businesses, the one thing that we have to consider more than anything else is where are we going to get the money from, and where we get the money from is all going to be down to our income streams. So personally, when it comes to managing and looking at how we're going to be able to pay back loans and looking at everything else, sometimes because we're not guaranteed income streams, as the pandemic has shown us, then it's a case of looking at cash flow forecasting as your most important tool. Now, thankfully, if you're using QuickBooks, cash flow forecasting has become one of those innovations that have been happening during the pandemic, and it's actually involved in every single version of QuickBooks online, and it's a real true opportunity for you to understand how your business is going to perform via cash flow. Once you've understanding your cash flow and you can understand what your monthly estimated income versus your monthly estimated burn is going to be, so your expenses, then that's going to give you an opportunity to understand what money's left over in the pot. And it's that money that's left over the pot that you will be able to utilize when it comes to saving back for that bounce back loan. Now, the whole idea of keeping 3 months behind has always been a useful strategy. And from a personal point of view, it's always one that gets muted around quite a lot. And it doesn't hurt to have it available here. One of the good things, though, and one of the things you should be understanding about the bounce back loan is just how flexible that loan has been. So what you'll find with that loan itself is that you do actually have the opportunity to defer making the payments, to turn it to an interest only, to extend the amount of time that you've got to pay the bounce back loan back. The idea of the bounce back loan was it's supposed to be as easy to use and as flexible as it possibly could be during these times. So I highly, highly recommend that you look into thinking about what can you do with that loan? What opportunities are you going to have to be able to make sure that going forward, you've got opportunities to be able to make sure that your cash flow is working for you. So plan out that cash flow, use the tools that are available within QuickBooks, have a look at what your monthly income is expected to be, have a look at what your expected expenses are going to be, use the tools in QuickBooks because that's going to do that all automatically for you, but use the tools in QuickBooks to also look at what effects are going to happen down the line. So the fact that you're going to start having to repay the bounce back loan and things like that, and the reduced in furlough and all those sort of effects you can put into the cash flow to give you some chance to more of a full version of the cash flow itself. Once you've done that, then just consider how much is likely is going to be able to be saved. Think about saving up for those rainy days again, thinking about trying to prepare yourself for that worst case scenario that we talked about. Once you've got that and you know what that situation is going to be, so at that point you can decide how much you'll be able to pay for the bounce back loan, if you can meet the monthly requirements as they are, and if not, you have the opportunity to talk to your lender and be able to sort about a solution that's going to work for you. But do use those opportunities, do use that chance to go through, plan what's going forward, have all those elements in plan. The more planning you can do for this, the better it's going to be overall for you. But that's a great question there. And I know a lot of people are getting concerned about the bounce back loan and how that's going to be something that's going to be affecting businesses going forward. It's amazing to think that, you know, we're already a year in to when the bounce back loan was announced. So Carol from Instagram DM also asks, how can I record a barter transaction in QuickBooks Online? Great question there, Carol. So Carol's asking here basically how to create a more complex transaction. Hopefully you're all understanding how you can put in invoices and sales receipts and how they can come through as quite a simple transaction to make. And QuickBooks is designed to be as straightforward as possible for putting those simpler transactions in. But every so often, people like Carol come along and they have a more complex transaction that they want to record and they want to make sure that gets put in there. Now, when it comes to any complex transaction, and especially things like the barter transaction, the important thing is all about your products and services within QuickBooks Online. You'll notice if you go in and try and create a sales invoice today or a sales receipt today, then you get a drop-down menu of all those different products and services you sell. Now, you may have never touched these before, and you may have just used the default products and services that are there. But you will also notice that you have the opportunity to create a brand new product and service directly from an invoice and a sales receipt itself. That gives you an opportunity to really think outside the box and start thinking about what opportunities and what complex transactions you can actually do within QuickBooks Online. For example, you have the opportunity to go in and create a service that goes and posts directly against a balance sheet item, as opposed to your normal profit and loss item. So that means instead of actually putting in an expense or an income on your product, on your sales invoice, you can start putting some sort of a liability or some sort of asset on there that you can start putting provisions in for. And that's going to give you opportunities to start thinking of how these other elements can be put into place and how you can start looking at more complex transactions within QuickBooks itself. And I really do think that you'll find that that's going to start, once you start thinking of that, you're going to start ways in which you can start solving most of the solutions out there. So for you, for the barter transaction itself, you can have your standard invoices, your standard sales receipts, but you're going to have a different products and service that's going to give you that opportunity to track it going forward. Don't be afraid to create products and services, because you have the opportunity to go in and edit them at any point, and then you can change it to what you need it to be. So hopefully you've been able to see that. If not, that sounds like a great little video for me to do over on Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap. So keep an eye out for a follow-up video on exactly how I would tackle that issue. Kirsty from YouTube Live asks, will my tax return be different this year as I've had help from the self-employment scheme? Great question there, Kirsty. And Kirsty, this is something that we've already found has affected our clients. So the tax return itself has had some little lick of paint, and there are some new questions that have been asked, and the new questions are all about what support has been given. So if you've had the self-employment income support scheme, then there is an actual area on the tax return itself asking for the information relating to it. Same with corporation tax returns as well. If you're in the corporate world and you've got yourself a limited company, then there are questions being asked there about what age you've received during the time. Now, the biggest problem about this information is just being able to make sure that you can put down what you've received during these times. And you've got to make sure that the income that you've received from self-employment income support scheme or any of the other grants available have been shown on your accounts first and foremost, and then on your tax return as income as well. The reason this is so important is HMRC already pretty much know what you've already received. So our assumption is that they're going to be using that as an opportunity to see if your return needs to have a further inquiry or not. If you've received, say, £1,500 during the year and you don't put £1,500 on your return, then that gives them an opportunity to look into an inquiry going your way. So I really do urge you just to take some extra care and make sure that you put exactly what income you received from support during this time. Also remember that HMRC are going to be using that information as well, just to be making sure that the right claims have been put in. So do work with them on this. Do make sure that you've put it in there. Remember, this is one area where your accountant isn't going to know. Self-employment income support scheme was something that you had to go and claim for yourself. You weren't able to use accountants to go through and do it as an agent. So that means that as accountants, we're a little bit in the dark on this one. We're hoping we're going to be able to rely on the records you've kept to be able to make sure that we can get the information right over on your return. So this is going to be a little area where we're going to have to work together as accountants and clients. But if you're doing your own, then I do urge you to just make sure that you get that one area absolutely spot on, just so you can minimize any potential inquiries or anything later down the line. But a great question there, Kirsty. Hopefully, fingers crossed that everyone's been able to keep those great records. Using QuickBooks Online would have been a great opportunity for everyone. I certainly have encouraged all our clients to make sure that They've been recording their support they've had from the government in separate areas, so that it's just a quick run of a report when it comes to completing things like the tax return going forward. Our next question then is from Twitter DM, and Amar asks, you mentioned flexible working and finding exciting new talent. I certainly did. Do you have any advice on how to virtually onboard talent successfully? What's worked well for you? Great question. I'll tell you one thing that actually changed the game for me in terms of being able to find the right talent and be able to encourage the right talent to come forward to us was we found that YouTube has been a huge benefit to us in terms of getting the message out and communicating and getting confidence with clients and telling clients about brand new things and teaching clients and everything else that YouTube's been giving us the chance to be able to vocal our voice to the community. So we thought that let's turn that on its head. So when it came to hiring our latest line of recruits, we actually asked them to create a short little video for ourselves. They could use any platform that they wanted, preferably YouTube, just to make it easier for us. But the idea was that when they actually sent their CV into us and they sent their covering letter, they actually also sent in some videos. And we had some absolutely amazing videos come through. And what that did was it gave us an opportunity to look at all of the talent that's out there, and it automatically gave us an opportunity to look at the talent that we were really interested in. And it was a way of making sure that the people who applied for the job really were the right people for the job already. And that gave us an opportunity to really, when it came to the actual interview process, which was all done remotely, all done using Teams, gave us an opportunity to be a bit more flexible with it, be a little bit more dynamic in the way we would normally do things. So we got opportunities to ask our potential candidates to do a little mini presentation and have those sort of opportunities as well, meaning that we were really having an opportunity to be able to see exactly the skill sets of those candidates itself. We were increasing our pool. I mean, we were increasing the amount of exposure we had to it. So we needed to minimize or at least make it comfortable for us to be able to look into that talent pool and make sure we find the right candidates. So use technology, use the opportunity to make it work for you. But I promise you, you're going to find some new ways of thinking, some new innovations are going to come from it. And it's something that's really helped us as well. We're really excited for the future of how we're going to be able to bring new people into the practice going forward. That's a great question, though, and hopefully you've been able to go out there and do the same for yourself. So Alexandria from Facebook Messenger with the next question says, hi, Aaron, from speaking to your clients, what do you think will be the challenges and opportunities for small business owners in the next couple of months? That is a really good question. So more importantly than anything, this has been a real focus on cash flow. Cash flow has been one of those words that I, as an accountant, I've always had to explain to people and always had to say how important it was and how crucial it's going to be. But unfortunately, now more than ever, it's going to be something that is hugely important to businesses. I know I said it already, but I'll say it again. QuickBooks Online perfectly timed the release of the cash flow forecasting tool, meaning that we've been able to have conversations with our clients about real-time information about how their cash flow looks today and how it's predicted to look in the next 3 months, all without us having to do any special reports or having to put any work in. It's all been generated automatically by QuickBooks itself. And that's crucial. That's so important. Our clients are going through really tricky times at the moment where they're trying to gauge how much they can go in and how much they can look at being able to expand their businesses, or at least be able to open their businesses to as much people as they can during these more still restricted times. So even as simple as your cafe owners and your salon, your hair salons, they're having to think about exactly how much capacity they can take in. They're going to have to think about what staff members they can bring back using flexible furlough, using reduced furlough. They're going to have to start putting all these considerations into the pot and be able to understand exactly how to bring their business back up to what it was pre-COVID, but in a safe and a steady and a manageable manner. Now, the only way they can do that is by looking into their cash flow, by understanding how much money that they're going to be expected to bring in versus how much expenses they're going to have to fork out for. They already know they've got depleted savings or depleted cash flow at this point in time. They don't want to be putting more strain on that by taking on expenses that are unnecessary. So it is that time to be very, very opportunistic when it comes to their cash flow. And the only way they're going to be able to do that, as I've said before, is having that information at their fingertips. I also think clients, the other challenges they're going to face during this time is going to be all around trying to make sure that all the goodness that they did during the lockdown period, so all those new income streams they may have generated that I was talking about before, or all of those new ways in which they've innovated their business, they don't lose sight of that. It's so easy to fall back into your old habits, fall back into what you were doing before, and then not notice or not benefit from all those extra revenues and those extra elements that you've been able to take out during the pandemic. So one thing I do highly recommend our clients do is just look back, reflect on this last year, see what really, really worked for them, double down on what worked for them, as well as bringing back some of their older ways of doing it going forward. What's our next question? So hopefully that's answered you that question. It was a great question there, Alexandria. Joel from Facebook Messenger asks, good morning. One of my customers overpaid an invoice and it's the first time it's happened. Firstly, how do I record this in QuickBooks Online? And also, can I just transfer back the amount, or is it best that I keep it and the client pays less next time? We have a rolling contract, so the client can pay me next month again. Great question there, Joel. So first and foremost, how do you record this on QuickBooks Online? Well, if it's an overpayment itself, then when it comes into the bank account, you're going to have the opportunity to make it as a payment, and you're going to be able to transfer that expense put that payment, the income that's come through that deposit, and you will put it directly against debtors and against the customer itself. Now, once you've done that, all that's going to do is it's going to show that payment on your client's customer account. And basically, it will show the customer in an overpaid position. Now, when it comes to should you pay the transfer back or what's going to be best for you, the only thing you've got to be careful on, and you've got to make sure is okay, is that you're not that your contract with that customer isn't being breached. So if you already said in the contract that your customer service is going to be that you will repay them, then make sure that's what you do. If not, then you do have that opportunity for having that monthly one. As long as you have communication with the client and they're happy with that, then there's no problem whatsoever in holding on to that money. But do reach out to the client, do talk to the client first, make sure that you can talk to them about it. I've got one last question and then it's time to wrap up, I think. So Jara from Twitter DM asks, hi, I have my bank connected to QuickBooks, which is great. Are there any other apps you would recommend using connected to QuickBooks that can benefit to keep on top of my business finance? Yes, I certainly do. So one of the things that we've had as definitely as we've seen going forward is the increase of the amount of apps that are available for QuickBooks Online. Some of those apps are really beneficial to your business. So highly recommend looking at my channel, Aaron Patchett QuickBooks Chat. Great set of resources there, and we've been looking at some really amazing apps. As a teaser, one of the apps we've looked at the moment is OneSAS, which has recently been acquired by Intuit, and the idea there is it's about connecting to other things. So we've been able to connect our EPOS solutions or our client EPOS solutions, been able to connect our client eBay accounts and our client Etsy accounts, and that means that all that information is flowing beautifully into QuickBooks Online. So you will find that the benefits that you've had from connecting your bank account, which is huge, getting that data flowing into QuickBooks, creating those cash flow forecasts, making your accounts and bookkeeping more accurate, you're going to see all of those benefits again by connecting other apps to it. So www.apps is your friend, and I most certainly think that you should go over there and have a look at that one. With that then, that is it. That is the end of the 250 show. Again, a massive, massive thank you to Ask the Expert team. This show has been instrumental in making sure that us as a small business community has felt connected during this time. So a massive thank you to the whole team for putting this together, from Intuit themselves for putting it on, and also for you guys for watching each and every episode. So the poll results, as I was asking throughout today, we're asking for, have you sacrificed anything for your employees? 33% of you answered yes, and 67% of you answered no. And that's quite surprising. And I think actually one of the things that you'll find from those results there is that actually when you think about it, you have been sacrificing a lot more than you think. We've all had to. We've all had to look at ways in which we've had to adapt and make sure that from our employees, they feel supported during this time. And we've been sacrificing a lot there. So even though only 33% of you have said yes, I think if you reflect on it a little bit more, I think you'll find that a lot of you have been doing a lot more, and you deserve a lot more credit for that as well. So with that, it's time to think about wrapping up. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. If you want to get in contact with me, you can send a message to hello@barter.com. One of our team of experts will be more than happy to help any questions you have, or head over to the YouTube channel for more tips and tricks on QuickBooks. Coming up tomorrow, we've got a huge Ask the Expert. We have Lee McQueen, an entrepreneur and winner of the series of the UK version of the reality TV show The Apprentice. I'm sure you all remember Lee McQueen from that. I certainly can't wait to see him online tomorrow. Lee is now the founder of Phoenix 51, a state-of-the-art talent assessment platform. And during times like this, that is something we're going to need to be utilizing more and more going forward. Tune in to get advice on how to recruit without bias. I certainly will be. As I said, I've been looking at expanding my talent reach, and I think this is going to be a great way of making sure that we have that going forward. Don't forget to join our official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. Accountant and business experts are on hand 24/7. Just like myself, I'm always there, happy to answer your questions on there. So get yourself over there. And with great thanks to everyone again for the 250 show. Hopefully you've seen and enjoyed each and every one of the episodes. Have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.